is, and I'm quoting, "The book that changes everything is the one you're gonna write." So sometimes we all have some, you know, kind of we're not trusting our own talents, and we think that we cannot write a book just because we don't know how to write. But what we have to say is something that nobody else has. And it's really important that people hear what we have to say. And that's my own interpretation. So your upcoming book will help you build your credibility and PR punch. It will help you grow personally and professionally, rethink your marketing, customer relations, and relationships. Writing the book is all about process. At his presentation, our speaker, Kerry, will share with you a tool that will help you make your book fun and easy to write. Kerry, who recently moved to San Jose from Taiwan, is an award-winning journalist who has worked for years as a marketing branding coach and a public speaker. A freelance editor, proofreader, and a lot of things that, you know, a lot of jobs that he did that are related to writing. So he's definitely somebody that we want to bring here to find out about writing a book. So with that, I'm really happy to bring here Kerry. Can you say your last name?
You have to wave your hand in it. Giudici. Giudici. Oh, how do I turn this? Is it on?
No.
Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Yes.
No. Now, wait a minute. I have a question. Is this one beautiful lady or what? Huh?
Yeah.
She and Ami make up one of my favorite couples. They're just wonderful people.
That's the Italian.
They do great work.
Kerry.
You know, and it's always fun to be with this group for a lot of reasons, but they were always a big reason. So if you can hear me, I'll put this in my pocket. And I'm glad that I'd forgotten what I wrote, which is, you know, not because I'm getting old or anything, but so I'm glad that she mentioned those things, because there are a lot of benefits to writing a book. And writing a book is very different from what it was just 10 or 20 years ago. When we think of writing a book, we think of spending days and weeks and months locked in some kind of dusty, dark room, slaving over all these words. Well, maybe that was true at some point, but it is not true now. And the internet age has made writing a book a really valuable exercise for anyone, even if you don't have a business. It's a valuable exercise because it helps you, reflect on who you are, what you know, what you want to share. All the people who are saying they want to help people. This is something, a way that you can help people without saying a word. You can give them your book, or give them a link to your book if it's online. So, and it's kind of unfortunate that people still have these old preconceptions about writing a book, because it's changed completely, and the value of having, we still are thinking in terms, okay, I'm going to market my business. That means I have to go find a website designer, I have to go find, a marketing director, a social media expert, and all of this in a piecemeal way. We try to put together a marketing effort, a marketing drive. When the fact is that in the internet age, we are all doing things every day that used to take a lot of that kind of effort. And now we can do very much more quickly and efficiently. Because the internet is all about efficiency. So my idea is, and what I contend, is that each of you has a book inside you that will help you whatever your goals are. Whether it's personal development, professional development, marketing, making friends, being a big shot, it doesn't matter. All of these things can be accomplished. And having a book, the day that you start writing it, it begins to pay off. the next time you go and introduce yourself to someone, the first thing that you say is, well, here's my successful thinker card, so please come to our next meeting. Okay, don't forget that, very important. And the second thing is when they ask you what you do, say, I'm writing a book. You know? It puts you in a whole different category than the other people in your industry or your neighborhood or your whatever, community. It creates a whole different aura and a whole different personality. And so there's a lot of benefits, but the big question is, okay, well, how can I do it efficiently and make it fun and easy? Or what tools are out there that can help me accomplish this? Accomplish all my marketing goals and my you know, and I don't need a business card anymore. I just give out a book that's got my contact information in it. And it will be a package, a set of materials that people will want to use and want to refer to. And that set of materials, that book, will put you in a different category. So there's just all kinds of benefits. And the fact is, you could write a book today, and next week, it could be online. That's the kind of technology we have today. The problem is, it probably won't be very good for most people, okay? You know, you need something, and one of the most important things that you need is a good editor. Okay? You need, because every writer, every person who works on a book say, when you ask them what's the critical part of finishing your book and getting it right, they all say editor, a good editor. And so that's the main thing that you need, an idea and an editor. And with those you can get started anytime you decide. And a little bit of time. But it's not as much time as you're afraid of. So, in order to, and since some of you are now wondering, when is this guy going to shut up? I'm going to turn the presentation over to a good friend of mine who 2 weeks ago began using the tool that I want to suggest that you all try using and talk to one of us if you ever have any, if you want to say, well, how do I use the tool and how do I, and please welcome Ms. Cordelia Jang.
Hi everyone, I guess I'll just give a brief introduction to myself before we dive into it. So this is actually my second Successful Thinkers meeting. Some of you may remember me from last week. I made quite a splash in my introduction. For those of you that weren't there, I'm just going to sum it up. In the last 3 years, I lived 11 months living in mental hospitals, and through that I was able to redirect myself. I was studying hospitality at Cornell, and before that I grew up in Cupertino. I was president of Cupertino High School, and I played 3 varsity sports, and I used to weigh 100 pounds less before I took medications, and that had the side effects of weight gain. But with all that being said, I'm so grateful to have met Carrie. I met him through another meetup, aside from this one, and I encourage you all to check it out at least. And the day after I met Carrie, I went home that day and I just started crying to myself. And I'm thinking, when's the last time I've cried? And why am I crying when nobody's making me cry? I'm alone, and I'm just starting to cry. And I realized, Carrie, you know, having one person believe in you can completely change your mindset on the world and just shift your paradigms. And I know a lot of you are looking at me thinking, how old is that girl? My kids are older than her. I'm 23, I turned 23 this year, but I can guarantee you that I've experienced some things in life that some people never get to experience. And I'm talking about some severe pain, severe depression, a strong recovery, and an optimistic outlook on people around me, the world, atrocities. So I'm really glad to have met Carrie. So why I was crying was because I was no longer comparing myself to, you know, peers in a literature classroom trying to write an essay that'll meet every point on a rubric, that'll get a certain number of points, that'll give me a certain grade, that'll get me to a certain college. I was starting to compare myself to every other author that ever existed. So Carrie really took me from a small pond and kind of threw me in the ocean. And I was drowning at first, in my own tears even. And then later on I realized why I was crying was because I felt so charged, emotionally charged and motivated, because I thought to myself, wow, I've written 160 poems, 7 short stories, and a few chapters of a book, and I thought I was ready to get it published, to be a bestseller, because everyone that I had sent my work to, just close friends and family, they're all like, oh, this is so addicting, you're such a great author, you need to get published, like, you really have a knack for this. So I'm thinking, great, I'm set. I found Carrie as a professional editor, we're gonna get this on Amazon, and I'm gonna be a millionaire. So I met Carrie, and he kind of just won me over with a quick blurb on how much he likes to assist other people, bringing out their talents and how humble he was. So I gave him my stuff, and he read through it, and we met, and he said, this is all good, but we probably can't use most of it. And that was just devastating to me, because I thought I was done with the process, and it was extremely humbling, because now I realize I'm taking myself a lot more seriously, and although my writing before was better than anyone has seen that has read it, I know now that I can do even more. And so I'm thinking to myself, even if I spent every second of my life from now on writing, it's still going to be enough. So my goal is to at least win a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer Prize, start off with a Pulitzer Prize.
Piece of cake, piece of cake.
Yeah, so anyways, I just started taking myself.
We're here about the tool. Can you?
I'm sorry, Ann.
No, it's all right. So 2 weeks ago, I introduced her to a tool that I've been using for 25 years when I'm writing. And it improved, from the first time I used it, it made my writing much more effective and easy to read. So I've asked Cordy to bring in some examples to show you. You won't be able to read them, but to show you what she's been working on and what is she's still working on. I don't want to devastate her any more than I have to. So I haven't been talking about her writing, but we've been talking a lot about her this tool. So can you tell me very briefly about it?
So on this paper is my whole book, and I was very hesitant to embrace this process. I'm not an organized thinker, and in high school I know we were forced to make outlines, graphic organizers, and this type of thing. But when Carrie was first really advising me, and I completely trust Carrie at this point during this conversation, he's telling me, if you really want to write a book, you have to slow down. I tend to have racing thoughts. You might be able to tell as I talk really fast. I have racing thoughts, and
okay.
Don't get oil on this.
Don't copy.
Yeah, exactly. I can decipher it for you later.
So what did you, so this is a mind map, and a lot of you are familiar with mind maps. It's a brainstorming outline form. It's nothing new and it's nothing revolutionary. But it's a very useful tool, I believe, for writing. So what was your first, I'm going to interview you a little bit, since I'm a journalist.
So I was very skeptical at first to create this mind map. I thought that, I'm kind of the type of writer that's been just free writing, just jotting down like a brain dump, like my stream of consciousness from keyboard to my reader's eyes. And when I had to embrace this process, I love that song. Just kidding. When I had to embrace this process, I was very hesitant, and I was texting Carrie, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm thinking more of a mind map than a mind map. I'm not sure I can really buy into this idea.
Putting her to sleep.
Yeah.
Can you stop just 1 second? Can everybody close their phone, please, and just out of respect to our speaker?
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you so much.
Also, I think Carrie forgot to mention this, but we want to kind of foster a community here. And so if you guys at any point have any questions about what I'm saying or what he's saying, or if you want me to slow down a little bit, we're happy to do that. No, seriously. So just raise your hands if you have questions, or if you give me this, or you give me this.
Questions, it doesn't matter, anything. How did you pick that lousy shirt? I don't care.
I know you're talking about his shirt then.
But we very welcome and we appreciate any kind of questions.
Yeah, so I would say that the beginning is half the battle, and having a mind map on that book, which actually branches out to other mind maps. So you can take any bubble on that overall mind map and create another mind, put that in the center of another mind map, and it just goes on and on, all the way down to actual sentences and phrases that you put in your book. And so what it does is it creates natural transitions, and it makes it really easy for you to see all your thoughts on one paper and be able to branch out wherever you want to branch out. And
if I could say something briefly, we were mentioning before how this could be used as you're writing a book. It can help you market yourself better. So you could choose when you're doing this, since it's your book, you can write whatever you want. You can choose to begin, by writing, the topics, the things that you want to market. These are our marketing, these are the topics that I want to get out there. And so those could be chapters or sections of your book. as you are writing it. So it's completely flexible and completely up to you how to do it. You just have to try to make it. You have a question?
Sally?
Okay.
Yeah, I understand the concept of brainstorming, and I also know it's rather unorganized. So you're telling me that the mind map is a way of organizing the brainstorm? How do you choose the focal point? How do you choose the point of the book?
Inner circle.
It's funny that you should mention that. Thank you very much. Because, and I've talked to some successful published authors, and they all agree with me. The first thing you need is your brand. The first thing we talked about is, what is your brand? What is the core value? What's the core message that you want to get out to people? And so that's another value of this, that it helps you with your branding process. And branding, as you know, is really important for any kind of business. Now, hers is a personal, so it might have been easier. But what's going to go in the center is the one thing that you want everybody, after they read your book, to take away, the value that you want them to get from reading your book. They're going to invest time in the book. This is the one thing that you want them to. Thank you for the good question.
And I can speak on it. Thank you, Sally, for the question. I can speak on an anecdote about the branding process. So Carrie was saying that, we need to set aside time to discuss this. It's going to take about an hour, maybe more. And so we were just sharing lunch together, and I thought, what if my brand is this? And within a minute, I got my brand. So I guess my advice to you guys would just be, it should be really natural, and it should be kind of an instinct almost. So I'm not sure choosing a brand needs to take a certain amount of time or even discussion. It should be something that just naturally exudes through you, because then you're for sure to have all your work aligned with that brand, because it's your core value anyway. So.
All right, great. Can you describe very briefly about the process? You say that you can go out as far as you can, and actually I've known writers who went out to the sentence level. They could use a mind map to actually write the sentences or the quotes that you want to go in your book. So at any level of detail that you want, it's completely up to you. If you find that, and the value of using the mind map, one of the values is the transitions are built in. After editing people for 30 years, I can tell you the way everything that you write, if it fails, it usually fails because you have poor transitions, unclear or weak transitions from one idea or one paragraph or one sentence to the next. So it includes that.
Yeah, I would say the mind map process is as thorough as you want it to be, but it can be as thorough as down to the dots and the I's and T's.
Whatever you want. I like it.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I like this topic so much is, I know that a lot of us are, I usually have a strong voice, but that's okay. A lot of us, some of us, want to be an author, and so they look at it from that, perspective. But many of us are, have businesses in different areas, and one of the ways for you to be able to compete against other professionals that offer similar services, like realtors, insurance people, financial people, is if you come up as a leader in your industry, and leadership can be acquired by writing a book. So for me, the reason why I like this topic so much was because I thought that you could be either a speaker or an author or both, and that will definitely make build you as a guru in your industry.
Great, thank you. Thank you. And asking Cordy once more, what mission, what would you like people to take away from your book after they read your book, the one that you've done the mind map on?
Well, I hope that people can discover. Should I talk about what the book is going to be about?
Like the subject. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be about my experiences in the mental hospital. It's not going to. I'm not spoiling anything, because you may think that you may think a certain perspective about what happens in a mental hospital. You're probably thinking of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or Silver Linings Playbook, but actually it's much different in how it's portrayed. And I just hope that through my writings of the vignettes of every single person that I've met, and you're forced to just interact. I was saying this to Ayla earlier, in the mental hospital, they take away your phone, your laptop, all you can do is interact with each other. And people that are going there are in this mindset where They're thinking, wow, these are all strangers, I don't know these people. When we leave, we won't see each other ever again. We're not allowed to switch contact information. So here's what I'm thinking. Here's why I'm here. Here's why I'm suicidal. Because the only